we had come from owning our own and living in our own space, having our own space, to then sharing a space. Naturally, being a married couple, going to sharing a space was an adjustment, like I think as it would be for anybody. But yeah, I think it was definitely necessary to get us here.
Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show. Welcome back, beautiful people. If you're watching live on YouTube, you see that we are in a new environment. We'll get into that in a little bit. My name is Devon Truvel, co-host of the M4 Show. And of course, I have with me my beautiful, my melanated, my chef-orific. She throwing down currently, queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Yeah.
And yes, I actively just finished cooking.
What'd you cook?
Jerk chicken.
Come on.
Some rice and peas.
Coconut rice and peas. Talk to him.
Coconut rice and peas. Some cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, I will fry up some plantains.
Some plantains. That's how you say it. It's not plantains. Just so you know, it's plantains. All right. But we're so excited to be back. Not live. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. All right. Because I know there's some people watching live, and we got some real diehard people that rock with the M4 Show. We appreciate you. This is not a 100% live show. So if you're leaving comments and we're not getting back to you and answering right away, that's why. We'll get you in the comments though. Don't you worry. Bottle, we see you. We appreciate you. Grandy, we see you. We appreciate you. But let's dive right in, Queen. We moved. All right. This has been on the vision board, yes, in the works for a while now. How much of the process you want to talk about, Queen? We got the build up to how we were able to purchase the house. We have the process of purchasing the house, which was a roller coaster, y'all. I'll be honest with you. It was a roller coaster for sure. And then we have the now, right? The process of actually living here and doing some home improvement projects. You want to start in linear order?
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. We're Marvel people. I thought we might go around the timeline a little bit.
No.
No. Right to it.
Right to the point.
So we can't talk about the blessing of this house and the amazing opportunity that we have without talking about the 1.5 year, almost 2 year choice and sacrifice that we had to make. And Queen, tell the people about that sacrifice, that journey.
Yeah. So to kind of summarize, otherwise we're going to be here for a couple hours just on this. But as hopefully you all know, because you've been tuning in, if not, and you're brand new, I had a corporate job that I quit in November of 2021.
Making money.
I was making a good amount of money. Anyways, in California, it was cool. But once I quit my job, we decided to downsize. So we were in an apartment, in a condo that we owned at the time. And we were living there, loving it, had our own space. That was the first place that we owned together. We made it our own, loved it. But we didn't want to have to worry about covering that mortgage anymore now that we lost a whole income. And so we decided to downsize. We moved into Devon's.
We didn't lose it. We let that income go.
You're right.
All right. We didn't lose that income. You didn't get fired or nothing. Right. We intentionally let that income go.
Which was the plan the whole time.
To increase the Queen's quality of life and to allow her more time to invest in the business.
Yes. And so in order to do that and wanting to do that and really have me be able to focus and not have to worry about making the mortgage payment and just doing things to make money, because that can further make you astray from the actual goal. We decided to downsize so that we rented out the condo so that mortgage was being covered. As long as there was someone in there paying rent, we were good to go. And then downsize and move into Devon's grandmother's house. Shout out to Grandy.
Shout out to Grandy.
Yes. And so we were in the upstairs loft, which had a bedroom, a closet, a bathroom, and a little loft area, which was above the living room. And yeah, that was definitely what allowed this to be possible.
For sure.
I think if we had continued to probably struggle to make those mortgage payments, we would have just been kind of making it by. I don't think for too long, but I just think it would have made the process so much more stressful. It would have just substituted one stress for another. Right. So I think it was definitely the smart decision to make. But of course, like you mentioned, it was a sacrifice because we had come from owning our own and living in our own space, having our own space, to then sharing a space. Naturally, being a married couple, going to sharing a space was an adjustment, like I think as it would be for anybody. But yeah, I think it was definitely necessary to get us here.
Yep. So our monthly payment went from like $2,000 a month with the condo, including HOA, to
that's modest. $2,200
to $500 a month plus utilities, maybe like $700, right? So there is a $1,500 almost savings that we were able to have per month because we moved out of that condo. So again, $1,500. You have your calculator? We'll do some real math. You got it? Yeah. Let me see. If you're a math whiz, I'm trying to do $1,500 times 18 months. Y'all let me know what you get. Top of your head. He's like, I can't do it.
I'm not.
I can't do it. 1,500 times 18 months. That's $27,000.
Sheesh. Yeah, that was wise.
$27,000 I was able to be saved and then used as a down payment for this castle that we have now. All right.
I never even did that math to figure out it really was a smart decision.
For sure.
Because yeah, it would have definitely prolonged this for sure. So yeah, wow. Good job past us.
Come on, past us. We did that, right? So I highly encourage folks, if they're thinking I want to get a house, or you have a long-term financial goal that you have, there might be a very intentional and strategic sacrifice that you can make today so that 18 months from now, 24 months from now, 36 months from now, you can have the capital you need for that dream. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, right? But I think that it's worth the long-term benefit of now having a home. We're going to be here for, depends on who you ask. How long, Queen?
I say 5-ish.
Just 5-ish. I say a solid 7. But either way, we got 5-7 years of royal memories here. So it's going to be great.
Yeah. I think it really is about that delayed gratification because yes, we could have stayed, continue to have our own space, be able to entertain all the things we'd like to do, but then it would have delayed this. And this was really, for me, it was kind of a prerequisite for us to be able to have a family.
She held me hostage, y'all.
Because
she held me hostage, bro.
I wanted space. I want to be able to have a space that we can grow into with our family rather than, having to outgrow a space and then be stressed out trying to figure out okay, no, we got to get up out of here, which is still eventually going to happen here, which is why I say 5, because this man wants 11 kids. And depending on the timing, we're going to outgrow this space too. But regardless, this is the perfect space for us right now. Like I said, we can grow into it. And yeah, it was all worth it.
For sure. One thing that I want to kind of talk about is the need to, I don't know if humble yourself is the right word or if checking your ego is the right word, but I know for me, being a business owner, being someone who talks about wealth, who talks about being millionaire, I feel like there was somewhat of an ego check in moving it back into my grandma's house, but still talking about wealth, still making a decent amount of money through our businesses, but not living like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like, sometimes I've told this story before, but we teach financial literacy throughout LUSD. And
Tell them the Tesla story.
yeah, I'm gonna tell them the car story. So I was walking out with some of my students, and one of the teachers got into their car, and it was a nice. I don't think it was a Tesla. I think it was like a nice BMW SUV, right? Nice. And then right next to that was a Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Oh, Professor Truvel, is that your car?" I was like, "Nah, that's not me, player." And I was gonna leave it at that. I wasn't gonna tell them what car I drove. I was just gonna leave it at, no, that's not my Tesla. They're like, "Oh, what do you drive?" I was like, "I drive that Prius parked right over there." And they just busted out laughing at me because Priuses aren't the stereotypical wealthy car, right? They're not the sign of wealth. Debatable if they're a sign of wealth, but stereotypically not a sign of wealth.
Like if you know what wealth is, then you know that it's probably more of a sign of wealth than any other car.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, that was a ego check right there. Like the car that I'm driving isn't exuding the wealth, the royalty, the millionaire status that I want and know for myself. And the same thing with our living conditions, right? I think anytime we were like, oh, where you live? Oh, we live in Moreno Valley.
Yeah, you just kept it at that.
kept it real general, right? We live in Moreno Valley. Yeah. So I feel like it was just that in the back of my head ego thing that, again, was worth the journey, but it's very, very difficult. Do you have any thoughts on? Oh, go ahead, Queen.
I'm just gonna not necessarily like just also share my own experience of the fact that, again, going from being somebody that people typically see as like successful and like doing all of these things, and then quitting my job, and then having to downsize, still driving a 07 Honda Accord, and
whipping.
But yeah, I felt like for me too, especially because like it's not like I was making a bunch of money right out of quitting my job. Like it took me a while to even get acclimated to the business, to be making income. Even the like part-time 1099 gig that I got, like I had to go through training, I had to work up to, being able to get my sessions and being able to make money. So I feel like it was definitely an ego check for me to completely dissociate my self-worth with money and like material things. Otherwise, I was going to be feeling very bad about myself in those, in this last year and a half. So I feel like I definitely had to dig into like what makes me me, right? Where is my value if it's not in how much money I'm bringing in?
So what did you discover? Yeah. What did you discover?
Well, I feel like I mean, you definitely helped me discover, but I think we did a lot of just throughout our business, we've done a lot of like gift finding type of activities. So I think finding my place in the business has definitely helped. The fact that I am in the behind the scenes, but doing a lot of the groundwork and the foundation that allows us to do what we do and make the impact that we're able to make. And so I feel like, I feel like I was used to being more in those upfront roles when it comes to leadership. So I feel like this has been humbling, but also like, oh, I still have a place in the background, right? Doing the insurance, doing the payroll, like, or all those things. I had previously gone from being a manager role. So I'm the upfront leader, right? I'm the person everybody comes to. And so going from that to like, you're that person and I'm like behind the scenes person, that was still an adjustment for me, but like I still found my value of like now realizing like we wouldn't be able to pay people without me.
Look,
like we wouldn't have mentors. We would be getting volunteers. Who knows the quality of work we'd be able to do. So I feel like, oh no, like we would not be able to do what we're able to do without me, and that feels good.
I'm hesitating because I think this is a really great podcast episode talking like this deep diving into gifts, but we have a plan about talking about the house.
We do. We can.
What do you? No. Let's sit here and Jayed, if you have a thought, feel free to text us. Do you want to take a more of a deep dive into how we were able to discover gifts and really find a solid place in the business, or do you want to stick on script?
I would want to think about the gift one a little bit more. So let's pin that for the next episode that we have just you and me. I do want to get into that.
That's good. Yeah, because that's real good.
Yeah.
So then let's fast forward then.
Mhm.
Stay tuned
Right.
for that episode. Let's fast forward to the home searching process. One of the things that was very difficult for us, and I think we could have maybe made it more simple if we had more time, but we were like, you know what, this is the season, things are coming up, we want to go ahead and move forward. Was the fact that some of our income was coming from our business and not two W-2 incomes. So there's something to keep in mind for you all if you are small business owners, or if you're a 1099 worker. You're gonna need to do some creative financing.
Yeah.
Definitely encourage you to reach out to a mortgage broker instead of going the traditional route with a Navy, with the Wells Fargo, with the Chase, because a lot of the income that you're making that's not straight up W-2 might not be considered. Any thoughts on that process, Quinn?
I think long story short, like the issue we were running into again is I had quit my job. So in general, you need 2 years of like the same type of income in order for them to even count it as income and can consider it for what you can qualify for. So considering I had just quit my job a year and a half ago, none of my income was counting. Another gut check. Ha ha. My 1099, I'd only been doing that for a year, and then we had just started officially paying ourselves from the business this year as well. So had we known all of these things beforehand, we would have definitely, I think, done things differently and been paying ourselves earlier, which was something I feel like I had. Sometimes you know things, but I don't have reasons why. Like I just think I feel like I remember bringing up previously, like we should start paying ourselves, but like of course, you're asking why, and I'm just like I just feel like we should be paying ourselves. Like I didn't really have
You just wanted the money.
Yes, that too.
And my thing was, we weren't at a point 2 years ago. We didn't have enough cash flow to really be paying ourselves consistently and still have money in the business.
Yeah.
Whereas like now we're blessed where money's coming in pretty consistently from lead, from speaking engagements, board game sales, all these things, where now we can pay ourselves and still have money in the bank.
Yeah.
So yes, technically you were right, Queen. I will say that we technically should have been paying ourselves and we could have been creative about it, but we weren't balling like that back then.
It's all good. Hindsight. What we learned. We know now. But long story short, yeah, if you own your own business, if you're trying to qualify for a home or for something using business income, definitely meet really early on before you're ready, before like a year out, like, so that you can get creative. If you need to switch things up with your taxes or whatever, work with the CPA, again, switch things up with your income, you can be creative and have time to do that. So yeah, really early on, find a broker that that specializes in self-employed or small businesses that can help you out there. Definitely recommend that.
But once we got that solidified, even probably a little bit before, we were on the hunt.
Yeah.
Right. Redfin, Zillow. Shout out to my cousin Floyd Rivers, who's our real estate agent. Shout out to him.
Yes.
Night and day, 11 p.m., 6 a.m., texting, emailing. That was a process. We appreciate you, cousin.
Yes.
But yeah, we were just searching. And we got to a point where there was some times where we would go to open houses and it was just her because I was working or at a conference. So she would go by herself and her mom would visit with her as well. But then we got to a point where she was like, you know what, Devon, you need to be there because every time I see a house that I kind of want, and I want to make an offer, I have to wait until you approve it. And then by the time I talk to you about it and show you all the videos, the house is gone. We need to move faster. Yeah. So we got to a point where we just set aside an entire weekend. We're doing nothing else. Maybe the podcast. I think we did the podcast.
I think so.
But all day, let's hit 5, 6 open houses, see them all, take pictures, and let's make a decision same day. So we did that twice. And then I think on the second time, or maybe even the third time, we saw this house.
I think it was the second time we did that, we saw this house. And then I think just the whole making an offer process like took that whole week. And then we ended up coming back the next week. So, but I think it was the second day-long touring day. That was when we saw that. Actually, it might have been the third. Because I think we did like a Saturday, a Sunday, and then this was the following Saturday. So it's technically the third day, second weekend. But yeah, long story short, we'd been on the hunt for a couple weeks already, and like you said, I had been going with our real estate agent and just trying to be efficient. Like I knew he had to work, but we didn't want to stop the momentum. But yeah, at that time, the market was hot in terms of like if you were buying, you had to be ready to move quickly because the ones that were good were going super quick. So yeah, it was I think we had one or two scenarios where we were ready to make an offer, but I had to, or let's say I was ready to make an offer, but I had to kind of wait. I want his buy-in. I want to make sure that this is a big investment. By the time we would get through everything, the real estate agent would reach out to the seller and they'd be like, "Oh, sorry, just accepted an offer."
Quick.
Yeah. So that definitely had to switch it up and just be like, okay, let's hold off until the weekend when we can both go. And if we like it, we will submit an offer the same day or next day or whatever. So, yeah.
Without going into too much details, I want to talk about what we love about this house. So you do like one, maybe two. I do like one, maybe two. And then let's each talk about a project that we're excited about as well. All right. So we're going to do that after commercial break. I want to make sure we have time to really think about what's the project, what's our highlight. We'll do a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about this brand new castle. See you soon. Look, we're going to get right back into the amazing podcast. But if you didn't know, in 2017, we created Black Wall Street, the board game, because we thought more families needed to know about the history of Tulsa Black Wall Street. More families needed to know about the legacy of Black excellence left behind of Tulsa Black Wall Street, that we can own a Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon. We can have a Booker T. Washington High School. We can have an Uncle Steve's Barbecue. We can have a Renaissance man like Simon Berry, who had his own taxi service and bus service that got bought out by the city of Tulsa. We have brilliance in our DNA. We wanted to make sure that your family can play a game that teaches them about this brilliance. So we have Black Wall Street, the board game, right here. We had the first edition available in 2017. That got sold out. We're on the second edition right now, or you can get the beautiful masterpiece version of the game as well. It's up to you. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower you, your family, and generations to come. Playblackwallstreet.com. Let's get back to the episode. Getting back into it and speaking about empowering generations to come, which is what our real estate portfolio will hopefully do for our kids. What is one of your favorite things about our new house, Queen?
I love the location. It is close to downtown. It's close to freeways. It's close to where a lot of events happen. It's close to my parents. So I just feel like it's close to an airport. I just feel like it's very centrally located. Restaurants is important. It's like we're right in the I think a good place to where we're getting restaurants from our city. We're getting restaurants from the next city. We have a good radius here. Couple of cities over.
You can see she be on the DoorDash, Uber Eats.
I'll be like, oh, we can get delivered from all the way over there. Okay. But no, I'm definitely central location is a plus. I like even that it's a walkable neighborhood. I went on a walk for the first time this week and I was like, okay, I vibe with this. I can do this
during the day.
Yes, yes. So yeah, location is definitely good.
For me, we'll do okay. I'm of course loving our backyard. That was a priority for me. I think it was maybe like number 3 or 4 for you. It was like number 2 for me because I just liked the vision and potential of our kids playing in the backyard, hosting barbecues at the house, game nights at the house, and just having that space to do what we want.
Yeah.
And then eventually I do still want to build a YouTube podcast type studio in the backyard. So I just really wanted space. I remember seeing some of the other homes that we were looking at and automatically like, no, backyard's not big enough. You're like, but Devon, backyard's not big enough.
Yeah.
But what if we don't find a house? It's like, you know what? Just wait. It's gonna happen. Right. And yeah, this backyard is beautiful.
Saucy.
Yes, it's very saucy. Queen, what's your next one?
It was actually going to be space. I don't know if that's too general, but not just in the backyard, but just in general. Like we have a good amount of space in the living room and bedrooms. Like I don't feel crammed at all in this space. We have room to stretch our legs out, figuratively, and just be able to. I mean, we had a whole video shoot in this living room yesterday.
You did.
So we have
so much fun.
Yeah, there's just a good amount of space, and I also like that there's separation of spaces. So as much as I love open concepts in general, I like that. I kind of like that everything has its own little space here. It is like an older house, so it has an older what's it called, like setup to where everything has its separate room, the dining area, the kitchen, the laundry room, like it's all separated, but it's been renovated, so it's up to date. So yeah, I do like that there's, I guess specifically for me, and the fact that for the last year and a half my office has been literally a foot away from where we sleep,
right.
And so I feel like spending like 90% of my time in one room. I wake up, I'll go downstairs, grab some water, maybe go on a walk. I come back and I go right back up to the same room. I'm there all day. We eat dinner in the room. We go to sleep in the room. I just feel like I was in that room all the time. So I feel like having a separation of, we have our bedroom back there. I wake up, I go to the kitchen, I get my water. I can go in the backyard, I can go to the living room, do some stretching. Then I go to my office.
You used to be hopping from room to room.
It's wonderful. It's just the ability. Sometimes I really just be like, I'm just go to the kitchen.
See what the kitchen talking about.
Right, let's see what's going on in here. And then I decide that I want some tea while I'm there, something like that. But no, I just really love the separation of spaces. Like I love that, like, okay, it's time for work. Let me go into my office now and get some work done. I feel like it just makes each room have more of a purpose for me. I like that a lot.
Speaking of rooms with purpose, one of the other big selling points of the house was the fact that it had 2 bathrooms. And
here we go.
The purpose
here we go
of these 2 separate bathrooms was, one bathroom was going to be designated the queen's bathroom, and then there was going to be another bathroom that I was going to be blessed.
Why are you saying this in future tense like this is not happening?
However, what happened in real life, y'all, is that she now has 2 bathrooms. I promise you she used that bathroom more than me, because it is my bathroom, quote unquote, is right next to both of our offices, right next to the living room, right kind of next to the kitchen. So I mean, it's the easiest bathroom to get to. Her bathroom is the one that's in the room. So, I'm just like, this was a big selling point, but now I don't know.
Okay, so let me clarify. I feel like I don't know if this is a woman thing or what, but I feel like my intention for separation of bathrooms was you can have your stuff in a separate bathroom. I will have my stuff in a separate bathroom. You can get ready in your bathroom. I can get ready in my bathroom. And so we never have to like wait for the other person to finish using the bathroom or to get out of the bathroom so we can get in there and get ready. Like you have your own space. I have mine. It wasn't like this is your designated toilet. Your booty cheeks can only touch this rules? Toilet seat. Because at the end of the day, we both paying the mortgage on this entire house. So my booty cheeks gonna touch whatever toilet seat I so choose at the moment.
See how she do me, y'all? See how she do me?
And I'm not, it's not a double.
This is a family podcast. So let's stop talking about any type of cheeks. Period.
You're extra.
Second of all, okay, we can share bathrooms. I'll allow it.
Oh, how gracious of you! Thank you, King. I have never been feeling any type of way about you using my bathroom.
Just because I've used it twice.
Use it away.
Yes, ma'am. I will. Y'all here to hear first. But I do want to ask anyone else who has separated bathrooms, what's the protocol? Just so we can get the consensus of what happens, right? Who uses what bathroom? Leave the comments below. Let us know. Just have some good fun. Right? What is one? Oh, I get the evil eyes. Ooh. What is one project or home improvement you are looking forward to? You're excited about?
Backyard.
Yeah. Talk about your vision for the backyard.
I feel like the backyard is such a blank slate where it's literally right now it's just grass and cacti. A lot of cacti. Shout out to Philip, our neighborhood cat.
Your neighborhood cat.
Anyways,
I don't claim Philip. To be honest with y'all, I don't claim him.
Well, Philip claims us because he be chilling in our backyard.
Big chilling.
Front
yard. I'm looking for it right now.
Chilling. But yeah, it's just a blank slate. We've got space in the side yards. We've got space in the back. So my vision is to eventually put an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit. So that's like a little granny flat, a little second house in the back, because we have a nice entrance from the side. We can make that an Airbnb or a long-term rental, whatever. But we will be part of solving the housing crisis. And I know that there's a lot of push right now for folks. There's a lot of grants for ADUs because they realize this is part of the solution. They may not be able to build all these high rises, but if people build second houses in their, behind their house in their backyards, that can definitely help just give people more options for housing.
Right.
But two, it can also, for us, help bring in income for the property. So if we have, part of the backyard we won't be able to use, sure, that's a sacrifice that we're willing to make, because part of whatever income we make there will subsidize our mortgage and make it more affordable. So definitely something that we want to do in the future. I want to have a little a deck out there with a little above ground pool. I grew up with well, not since birth, but since being like a teenager, and when I could swim, I had a pool. I love having a pool. It gets hot here, so I feel like it would be really cool to have just a little above ground pool on a deck so that we can entertain. We can go literally just cool off a little bit, not anything to like go and swim laps in.
And
but
talk about the stock tank pool.
And I'm like going back and forth now between an official above ground pool and a stock tank pool. But a stock tank pool is, if you literally imagine like one of those big metal tanks that they like make beer in, if you were to just cut the top of that and just the bottom of it is now serving as a pool. So it's literally just like a metal tank that's just like the bottom of it. And a lot of people have seen them in like the Airbnbs, especially in like Joshua Tree, Palm Springs, where they're like desert houses and they just have that little pool there. It's just meant to literally for you to just kind of soak in, get some relief from the heat. It's not meant to be like a swimming pool necessarily. But yeah, I think that would be really, really cool, really cute. So again, when we have folks over, you could just take a dip in the pool, put your feet in, enjoy some drinks around it, have some pool chairs around it, have a barbecue pit out there.
Yep.
Yeah, we love to entertain. So I just like the idea, especially once we have young kids, right? We can get them comfortable in the water. I want my babies to be comfortable around water because I love to swim, and I want them to be able to enjoy that. I want them to learn how to swim and things like that. So also having something readily available that they can go and, it's not too deep to where we have to worry about them drowning or anything like that. We can just have them dip their feet in, get cool, teach them how to swim a little bit in the little pool. So that's my vision.
So additionally to the backyard, we're also going to have on the side of the house, nice little gym area, your garden, all that good stuff, and turf, because I don't want to mow grass.
Neither do I.
So a lot more stuff that we could talk about the house. Definitely make sure if you have particular questions about the home buying process, because we did a post on Instagram that says like, hey, we bought our house. And then I got a bunch of text messages, bunch of DMs like, how was the process? What did you do? Go ahead and ask those questions inside the comments so that the next video we can answer all those bad boys. All right. Again, questions about home buying, go ahead and put it inside the comments and we'll give y'all as much information as we know.
I was just going to say, no question is a dumb question. So it can be like, how much did you pay? Like whatever question you have, definitely just drop it. We're very transparent as much as we can be for our safety. But yeah, definitely drop it. And, everybody starts somewhere. So I started out listening to podcasts. That's how I learned about real estate. So if we can be that podcast where you learn something new, we absolutely will. So drop it. Don't worry about it. It's too whatever. Just ask the question.
Ask it. I want to shift to updates. Okay, you good?
Yep.
Cool. So updates. One, Aruba, which was an amazing vibe. We're gonna, of course, do a whole podcast breakdown of Aruba. If you didn't know, Sinclair is the windsurfing Southwest champion of her family. But we did go windsurfing, which was very fun,
Mhm.
very challenging, slightly painful. And at the end of our lesson slash free play, I guess it's called, we did a race with me, Sinclair, and her brother TC. And
I smoked him.
yeah, Sinclair
I
definitely won
smoked him, y'all.
by far. Like, it wasn't even close. And her
It
mom
wasn't.
was like taking the video, and she's like, "Oh, and there she goes. Okay, this is not even a race anymore."
Right. She had to literally just turn. It wasn't even getting them anymore because she couldn't get us all in the same frame because I was smoking them.
It was fun.
Yeah.
You would windsurf again?
I want to windsurf again because I got the surfing part. I'm good at like once I got the hang of like, okay, get up. It's about balance. Once I figured out like, okay, the weight transfer on the board, getting it up, getting the position I needed to be in, and also the
you see how many steps it is.
Yeah,
y'all?
no, it is.
Golly.
Like learning how to get on the board is the first 20 minutes. Like, but like once you got it, you got it. And then the catching the wind part is probably the hardest part because you can't forget everything else. You have to stay balanced on the board. You have to hold on to the mast.
Mast sounds familiar.
And then you also have to worry about like, okay, which way is the wind going? Timing it right so that you can catch the wind, and that's what actually moves you. Otherwise, you'll just stand there. But I can do that, and I got the like, okay, when I feel the wind, like I got the timing of when to pull and let go and whatever. But I cannot turn to save the life of me. Turning is very difficult. I tried it every single time. I tried probably 20 times, didn't get it once. So I'm very determined to get turning down. So I have to go windsurfing again.
It's a must.
It's a must.
So we'll keep you updated on that, and hopefully maybe I'll get closer to her this time. I'm not aiming for a win. I'm just aiming for a less of a loss.
You don't want to smoke.
Y'all hear this? Other update is we went to Tulsa's Black Wall Street with the squad. With the squad. If y'all don't know, we have a 10-week long financial literacy program. We have UCLA mentors, LMU mentors, USC mentors, recent graduates. But none of those students had been to Tulsa Black Wall Street before. We've had the privilege of going twice. Each time we learn something new. Each time we meet new people. Each time we are able to connect with someone who's local and they just sit down and chop it up with us. And we wanted to give that experience to our mentors. So we had eight folks join us, and dope experience. I think it went probably better than I thought.
Yeah.
I think our trainings in the morning went really well in diving into people's true colors, diving into our core ideology, which has been revamped over this year, and then going to Black Wall Street, getting the tour from Terry. Thank you, Terry. Going to the Greenwood Rising Museum and just seeing the emotional, I think, adventure and up and down that the mentors went through. And then seeing their kind of reinvestment into Play Black Wall Street is like, this is exactly what I wanted to happen on the trip. So it's good.
Yeah, I would say I was pleasantly surprised too that everything went smoothly. And like even the little things that didn't, like, oh, okay, we went to the bowling alley, everybody got to be 21 up. Okay. And like we just switched plans, like it always ended up working out. And even like down to the logistics, right? Maybe the logistics person, once we finally got the number of everybody that was going, we got all their information. We were only like 2 weeks out from the trip, and hotels were booked. All the hotels in Greenwood where we wanted to stay were booked. So I'm like stressing, like, okay, how are we going to figure this out? But we ended up finding a hotel that was significantly cheaper, just literally like 14 minutes away, rented some cars. And yeah, we still made it work. And I think everything worked the way it was supposed to, because we weren't downtown. We didn't have to walk a bunch, which was good because it was hot.
It was.
And yeah, the cars ended up working out. The hotel was perfect because it had the meeting room right there, had free breakfast. So yeah, I think everything worked out the way it was supposed to. You definitely still have things we can improve for the future, but the engagement level was there for the training, like you said, like from right at the beginning. Usually people like need to warm up a little bit, but like from the start, they were engaged, they were asking questions, they were, just super, super engaged. And it was, I think, a mixture of the returning staff being there and being engaged and again asking those questions, and then the new folks also, like, okay, they're setting the tone for how we operate here, and the new folks just really falling in line there, and yeah, bringing their own personalities, their own questions, their own journeys. It was really beautiful. And then yeah, seeing everybody go through the emotions that I'm sure we were experiencing the first time going to like the Greenwood Rising Museum. It was all part of the process. So to see that that was happening was like, okay, this trip is making impact not only for their ability to be good mentors, but in their lives. Like,
Right.
who knows what seeds this is planting for the future for them. And like, even like, hearing certain members, like, certainly learning certain parts of the history and being like, man, I'm pissed off. Right. And that like, I remember feeling that way. I was feeling pissed off too. Like, you can't hear some of these things and not get emotional, but that it's like sit in that, and what does that, like, how do you take that and do something with
Action.
it? Yeah. So no, it was really, really good.
Can't wait to go back. Can't wait to go back, y'all. So definitely make sure, if you haven't tapped into Play Black Wall Street yet, if you don't know what the board game is, if you don't know what the Leaders Innovating Tomorrow is, go to playblackwallstreet.com. Get yourself a board game today. And if you are an educator, go ahead and send us an email. An email at info@playblackwallstreet. We can get this 10-week program to your school. We are focused right now on the Southern California area, mainly LA, Inland Empire. But even if you're outside of that region and you want your students to know this history and to improve their financial literacy, please reach out. Okay? Queen, you got any parting words, concepts, or questions before we end this beautiful podcast in our new home and we eat this delicious jerk chicken?
I think kind of one of the themes that we talked about in the episode was just the sacrifice, that delayed gratification, and how it is, we're eating from the fruits now, and it feels really good. Like, it's a breath of fresh air to be here. And I think that again, it was only possible because of the decisions we made 2 years ago. So if you are contemplating something, if you know that like, oh, I really want to do this, but I'm not necessarily looking forward to, whatever sacrifice has to be made or the delayed gratification, like, just just do it. Just get it done. The longer you put it off, the harder it's going to be. Um yeah, I think it definitely makes it worth it in the long run. And I would definitely rather have, dealt with the sacrifice, the delayed gratification for the last year and a half, and been able to enjoy these next 5 to 7 years in bliss, versus trying to hold on to the previous lifestyle we had, stressing about it, and now whatever next goal we had, which is our family home, would have been delayed years, and maybe not have been able to get the type of property we wanted. And I would have been kicking myself then, like, dang, if we had just downsized, if we had just done that. And I hate that feeling. I hate the what if. I hate the I shoulda, I coulda, woulda. Hate that feeling. So I'm very proud of us. I'm very proud of me. I'm very proud that we made that sacrifice and took those steps, because yeah, it was 100% worth it. So
For sure. And when you were talking about sometimes you have to take a step back to grow. For some reason, my brain went to those finger trap things.
mhm.
So where you put your fingers in, if you're pulling, you can't get out, and you have to literally contract. You have to bring your fingers closer together in order to release it.
Mm.
And I feel like that's sometimes how life is. Sometimes you need to slow down. Sometimes you need to regroup. Sometimes you need to downsize so that later on you can live that life.
No success path is a linear upward trajectory, right? You got to go like choop, 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 choop. So you just have to realize like, okay, this is one of those times where maybe it's going like this. But the idea is that there's a steep up curve, hopefully after that, so that you will continue the upward trajectory. But just remember that it's not always, nobody's success is always linear, where you're always going to be going upward. Like, there's always a roller coaster action happening. So just accept it.
Just accept it. All right. And also accept that you should subscribe to this podcast, right? If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure y'all subscribe and like this video. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of the podcasts, definitely make sure y'all follow this podcast, Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making. We appreciate y'all. course, my name is Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Make sure y'all secure the marriage. Make sure y'all secure the love. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Peace. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening. Go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.